Hello, everyone. Noah Schlicksup, joined by Scott Kornberg out here at VyStar Ballpark, and we are just a day away from opening day. How are you feeling out here? How's the staff doing?
We are very excited. Obviously, you have your whole offseason gearing towards this moment, and it's extra special when you're celebrating a championship from last year. So we've got all these really cool things that we're going to be rolling out throughout the weekend, not just to celebrate the coming of a new season and the excitement of that, but also to remember a pretty darn special team. So it's going to be really fun this weekend.
Really exciting stuff on hand, and just looking forward to this team that we're going to see on the field this year. What's the outlook for these guys?
Yeah, it's really interesting. A lot of the time when we see our opening day roster, we have about half of the players who have come here in the past. So you're talking about anywhere from 12 to 17 people or so on average. And this year we have 23 players who have played for us in the past, which is a great thing when you're coming off a championship team. The Miami Marlins, our parent club, they have really tried to invest in their minor league system, not just in terms of obviously trading guys from their major league roster, as you know, as a Cubs fan with Edward Cabrera, and some of the pieces have come back to our system for that. But also I just think the infrastructure of everything, they have a really interesting plan of how they want to develop players, and it's so different from a couple different front offices we've had in the last 10, 15 years that we've dealt with. So it's really cool to see how they want to attack getting players better every single day. And then to see our team be so successful last year in that, to see the Marlins really have a pretty nice season. A lot of people thought they'd win 65 games or so. They won 79. And so it seems like they really have a good idea of what they want to do to get players better. And so when you couple that with, hey, we've got these returners who they know what it's like to play at this level in this city, to win at this level, who've also had a lot of them with major league experience themselves, I think it's going to be a really good roster.
Peter Bendix and that new front office for the Marlins are turning a lot of heads at the major league level. And with a team that doesn't spend a lot of money, their development starts right here in Jacksonville and in these minor league systems. You mentioned it's different than with past front offices and what you're seeing here. What are some of the big changes right now with this front office that you're seeing here in Jacksonville?
Yeah, the biggest one is that the catcher doesn't call the game. So the pitching coach will call that from the dugout, and no other team does that. But I did see something this morning that the Mets are considering that because they saw something with the Marlins, and it was like, oh, this maybe worked for them, and we've got a lot of young pitchers and also a young catcher for the Mets. And that's something that I think the Marlins are doing that is maybe part of the future of baseball. And in some ways, the nostalgia kind of stinks, but I think you can't argue with the success that they had here, major leagues, and obviously the lower levels as well. And they're doing really experimental stuff even down there in A-ball. But the other thing is they have this technology. There's a machine called the Traject machine, and it's kind of cool. You could type in any single pitcher they have video of, going back to if you wanted Pedro Martinez, right? Or the fun thing is our manager David Carpenter pitched in the major league. So anyway, it's like a virtual reality thing where it has the video of the pitcher on the mound, and it's able to mimic their pitches based on velocity and spin and shape. And so the cool part is they could face their manager if they want to for fun. The actual value of that is if you're playing the Rochester Red Wings and their opening day starters Andrew Alvarez, you could punch in Andrew Alvarez on that machine, and literally it's you're facing him in the batting cage before you actually face him on the field. So they have all that different technology. They're trying to just approach the game differently. As you said, they're never going to have a payroll the level of the Mets, the Braves, the Phillies, probably the Nationals even in their division. So how do you compete? They think they have to do other things to do that, and I think it's bearing fruit.
You know what's funny is I think you mentioned I'm a Cubs fan. I think they installed that exact technology in their batting cage last year, and that's really cool how we're seeing it now in today's game of baseball, and it seems like that's something the Marlins are really investing in down here, is the technological side of things to give their guys a leg up.
They have to, and I think it's not just you can't just have technology. You have to know how to use it. You have to know how to teach it. And so their coaching staff now, their front office is really adept at not just understanding what this can do, but how do we translate this to a player? Because maybe players don't necessarily have a numbers background. They have to be able to figure out, okay, maybe this guy learns in this way and this guy needs to see things this way. How do I teach that to them? It's not all that dissimilar from being a teacher, right? And you have your class of 20 to 25 students and you figure out, okay, this a visual learner, maybe this person needs to do it this way. And I think they feel the same way. So it's like, yes, we could have technology, but it's also, how do we make sure it's digestible to players, or we don't overload them, but also figure out ways to teach them that, hey, if you do this, you could get better because of why. So having that incentive as well.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about the players on the field who've made this opening day roster. Who are you excited to see and you think Shrimp fans will especially enjoy this year?
Yeah, I mean, like the obvious answers, and I am excited to see them, are your big-time prospects, your Joe Mack, who's a great catcher, arguably the best defensive catcher in the minor leagues, and that's not just me saying that. He won a Gold Glove award for all of minor league baseball a couple years ago as a catcher, and the question with him is, can he be a little bit more consistent hitting? Very streaky hitter, but he's a really talented guy. Robbie Snelling will be our opening day starter. He was a first-round pick by the Padres a few years ago, and obviously like super-duper talented. He was traded here, had an off year in their system, and then it's just like the light bulb really turned on last year. I think at some point we'll get Thomas White, who's the #1 left-handed pitching prospect in all of baseball. Incredibly talented guy. He's just dealing with a minor injury right now. We saw him at the very end of last season, and it's like, wow, like this, you could see why people are so into him. So those guys are obvious. I'm very excited myself. We have this guy, Kemp Alderman, who has as much power as anybody in the minor leagues, and we saw him for the last 2 months or so last year, and so he was phenomenal for us. And to see what he could do building off that season, and just a really high character person as well. Really excited to watch the leap he could take in 2026. And then a couple relievers who I really like a lot, Josh White and William Kempner, two guys who are really unknowns, to the point where Kempner was traded to the Marlins last year just for international bonus pool money. And it's like, wait a second, they have great breaking balls, and that's what makes them great. And you know, you talked about this with the Marlins, like, how do we compete? It's figuring out what guys do well, and then just like, hey, you don't need to pitch off your fastball. You have a great breaking ball. So going into that in particular for a reliever. So this team, really at every single level, they've got guys who are really interesting. And last year, the big success probably of many stories, but Jacob Marcy, like to see what he did as a guy who hit 190 in the minor leagues in 2024 to putting up more than 2 wins above replacement for the Marlins in like 60 games last year. Like, what's going to be that leap? Like, I think we will have people like that. I'm really excited about those guys I just named, but there's a lot of people throughout every level, like starting rotation, infield, catcher, outfield, that I think are going to take big leaps this year.
Mm-hmm. Let's get into VyStar Ballpark. You talked about the relievers. They're going to be enjoying some new bullpens this year. One of a few new additions to really finish off the renovations out here. How have you seen that come together this offseason, and what do you feel like it brings to VyStar Ballpark?
I just think it makes everything complete. It's really cool to see really the end of the Project Next renovations. And you were asking about the bullpens before we started recording. Our president and general manager, Matt Gaudreau, he said, I want to make this a miniature Major League Park, only with better sight lines and better access and a more comfortable feel, because it's a smaller park. And so I think this really does give that feel. And the bullpens are awesome because from a fan perspective, you could look right over there and like you're right next to those guys. Like, you're looking down and you're seeing them warm up. Like, it's a really cool thing to see if you're sitting out in the MC Bass home run porch or the Coors Light Tiki Terrace or in that area. Like, it's a really neat little thing. Every single seat here, like in the seating bowl, all 6,500 of them, they're all brand new. It's just those other seats, they were original to the ballpark, so they were 23 years old. And it's like, wow, we're ready to try to make sure that we're keeping them up to date with everything. And then the last renovation, this is not necessarily fan-facing like the other two are, but I think definitely will have an impact, is we renovated the field down to like the very guts of it. So the drainage system is all like world class. They have things, and I say world class because there are several technological features that I don't even quite understand because I don't do groundskeeping, but that they're in only one of 2 fields in the entire world. They're in one of only 4 fields in the entire world. And I think that does affect the fan experience because of rain. We know we get a lot of that, so you want to have a field that is in tip-top shape and tip-top technological shape to be able to combat that. So the field looks incredible, and to have the technology that's like, again, state-of-the-art, world-class, I think is really, really cool. So to see everything come together this year, I just think the ballpark's got such a great feel, and some of the character that we're adding to the new right field hall from last year, with some of the championship banners, and we'll see some of that opening day when we unveil last year's championship banner, just gives a ton of character to this park as well.
You know what caught my eye looking at the stuff from Media Day yesterday was some of those new food items you guys have got here at the ballpark. Some of the best things about baseball right there is enjoying the concessions. As a fan, what do you look for out there? I mean, you saw all of those. If you're going to try one of those things this season, what's it going to be?
That's a great question. I'm a simpler guy. The Reuben looks really good to me. So they have things like a hot dog with pulled pork and mac and cheese on it, and I think if I was your age, I'd be into that, but I'm 35 now, so I got to be a little bit more health conscious, but it does look good. Maybe if I could split that with a few people. But I'm a big Reuben guy, and I think that's the point. Like, they try to have something for everybody here, right? Like, people want to, as you said, have, like, the crazy food, like the big mac and cheese bowls and the mac and cheese pulled pork hot dog. It's called the Daddy Dog, I believe, so be on the lookout for that. But we revamped our wheelhouse, which is open to any fan. On the third floor, it's air conditioned. There's a bar up there as well, but the menu is completely revamped because we wanted to try to find something that like is lighter for people, not just to have your classic ballpark food, but like you can get a Reuben. My personal favorite is something that has been there in the past, but they've thankfully kept it. The tomato mozzarella melt. It's awesome. But yeah, I think I'm excited about the Reuben. I'm probably in the minority because you can get good Reubens everywhere, but I like eating at a ballpark, for me, 150 times a year. It's nice to have the lighter option, so I'm very excited about that.
Do you get an employee discount out here on the food?
That I do, so I take advantage of that when I can.
Oh, I'm sure. And that stuff all looks great, I'm sure. We might have to come out here this summer and do a food review on these new items.
They're really good.
Do we get media discounts on those?
We could arrange for you to do some trying, and that shouldn't be an issue. Yeah,
we're going to get that.
Having a credential.
We're going to make that happen. I'm shouting out Brent Martineau right now. We're going to get out to the ballpark this summer, and we're going to make that happen. How about, you mentioned the AAA National Championship and what you guys are doing to celebrate that this year?
So really the first weekend's a big part of that. So opening day, we will be unveiling like a banner and doing a whole kind of ceremony with like a special video for what our team accomplished last year. Players are really excited to celebrate with our fans because they didn't get to do that. Remember, we won in Las Vegas, and in the minor leagues, they don't live in Jacksonville. So it's not like if the Jaguars were to win a Super Bowl, you could do a parade or something like that. Like, a lot of our players left for their homes from Las Vegas, so only about a third to half of our team even came back after that game. So they're really excited to celebrate with our home fans. It's something that a lot of those guys have mentioned. Saturday, we're going to be doing a replica ring giveaway, which is very cool. To the first 2,000 fans, we'll be doing our ring ceremony for the players as well before the game. And we do have like special uniforms we're going to wear out this weekend. So trophies will be on display as well. Fans want to take pictures for it. It's going to be really, really cool. And like I said, like, it's exciting to have opening day because you're having baseball season again is a great thing. But we want to make sure we recognize a pretty special team that it's the first championship of the Jumbo Shrimp era. It is the first title for a Jacksonville team since 2014. First International League championship since 1968. Most wins in a season since 1964. Like, that team last year was incredibly special.
You think we could see that again this year?
I think they're going to be really good. It's hard to guarantee that level, but I do think they're going to be a really good team, and I hope we do see it again, or I hope we go to new heights. I know that's what they're planning, is they want to make sure, and I am like 99% sure this is what David Carpenter will say when he takes the microphone tomorrow for opening day, is that, last year was great, but we plan on running it back. That's the attitude that they have, is like, last year's great, we want to celebrate that, but we also know we have business to take care of in 2026.
A lot of excitement here for Jumbo Shrimp fans this season, and a lot of excitement for you, I'm sure. Before we wrap this up, I want to give fans an idea of just what goes into this on the staff side of things. You mentioned Opening day tomorrow, long day for you. It's a night game. You're going to be here at 3 a.m.
Yes.
to get ready for this game. A lot goes on behind the scenes to make this all happen. What goes into it for you and for the other Jumbo Shrimp staff?
Yeah, well, that's just part of your job, and we're really lucky to have several different news outlets wanting to do their morning shows here and to cover us. So, we get there that early to allow them access to the ballpark, to set up their desks and stuff like that. So it's definitely a long day. The rest of our staff, we just want to make sure the ballpark looks incredible, right? We put in all this preparation to have a great banner ceremony tomorrow and unveiling. We have these great promotions, like fireworks is also tomorrow, which is very exciting. We want to make sure the ballpark looks in tip-top shape, that when you come here and you see the bullpen, it's a wow factor. When you come in through the main gate and you see the Welcome to Jacksonville sign, it's a wow factor kind of thing. So we just want to make sure that everything is in place, and that's a big part of today and tomorrow, is just making sure that this ballpark's ready to go. But fortunately for us, we had Cosmic Baseball last week. We had Florida State a few days ago. We had the Peak Events College Tournament last month. So we've had events here to make sure that we're ready. This is just like the finishing touches, because this is the Jumbo Shrimp. That obviously is really important to our staff. Like, this is who we represent, and we want it to be an incredible experience for everybody. So that's like what today and tomorrow is all about.
Scott, thank you for your time. Going to be an exciting season out here at VyStar Ballpark.